giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Oh, yeah. The Cowboys get their first dub at the crib, and what an interesting time to do so. We are going to revisit the Cowboys Thanksgiving game victory. I got some standouts from that game. We're going to go straight in honor of Thanksgiving. We're going straight on a walk. I got 5 guys I'm bringing with me, and I want to know about your guys as well, as we usually do when we take said walk. Also in the roundup, a lot more key injuries. Some guys returning, some guys fighting through things. You know how they do down there in Dallas. It's good news followed by bad news, just the way it is. Well, for some, though, this particular bad news may not be bad news to you guys, but we'll get into all of that. Good morning, Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, a safe, fun Thanksgiving. I am very interested, though, to know how you guys felt not during the game, just the outcome of the game. Because I often say this. Thanksgiving games over the years is kind of hit or miss for me because you're so invested that they can literally change your mood, whether they win or lose. But in a year like this, I kind of watch it. I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. It doesn't really affect my mood because I feel like the Cowboys are obviously done. But the other side of that is tanking. A lot of people are legitimately pissed off and upset that they're winning. So it's strange because usually if they lose, it affects my Thanksgiving Day mood. But I feel like it's affecting people's Thanksgiving weekend and holiday because they won. What a weird time we are living in, Cowboys. It's the weird time we are in. But they did get the dub. We're going to talk about it. You guys can call in and talk about it as well. 351-999-3787. All right. With that said, let's hit this roundup real quick, which is injury updates, and then I want to talk about the game with you guys. Whether it be on the phone, whether it be in the chat, whether it be just me and you. Let's do it.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
Time.
It's time!
Time?
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you!
Yeah, man. My boy L.A. Knight dropped the belt.
Yeah!
I don't like it. Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. My guy Big Kahuna said, meet me at the corner. Meet me at the corner store, man. Or if you up in the East Coast in New York, the bodega. Go grab something so we can roll out. So not everything was great coming out that game. Again, I'm not joking when I say this. And somebody can fact check it. I feel like for about a good 8-9 straight weeks, the Cowboys have lost somebody due to injury. Whether it be in the game, whether it be leading up to practice, it's just getting ridiculous, man. Said it before. I don't know that I've seen a more injury-riddled season, even 2020. And there was some times, I think 08 was pretty bad too. Some of those seasons, Romo 2010 years, but this has been crazy. We saw Wanye Thomas go down first, and that just gutted me after he scored a touchdown. His story got put out there again, and Wanye started to be part of more packages. I thought they started to figure out the safety rotation, and it was getting going. Then Wanye goes down, gets carted off, and it looks extremely serious. However, he avoided a serious injury. He suffered a meniscus injury, which we'll probably get more info on over the coming days. He's going to miss about 2 to 3 weeks. So Wanye could be back. And again, for one of those young players in a contract year, Grant, I believe he's restricted. You want these guys to be out there. However, not great for Josh Butler. Josh Butler, went up to try to defend the pass. I believe it was incomplete. And at first I thought it might have been contact, but then you saw the replay. It was non-contact and you knew right away, whatever it is, it's not good. Comes out, he suffers a torn ACL and he is done for the season and likely will miss the beginning of next season as well. We'll see, but it sucks for Butler, man, because again, an older player, 28 years old. When I say older, I mean, this isn't a rookie undrafted free agent or second or third year guy. He had been out of football for a while, fought his way back, obviously, with the Cowboys on the practice squad, got a shot and had been showing some fight, some grit, some toughness, and possibly playing his way onto another team or potentially coming back for the Cowboys to compete, to be a part of the rotation next year. And he suffers an ACL tear and he's obviously done. And I don't know if he'll be back here with the Cowboys, which just gut it for Josh Butler here. Eventually, as the week goes on, we start talking about these injuries in that defensive backfield. You'll look at Butler being down. Kalen Carson went on IR. Trayvon Diggs is nursing a groin injury, so we don't even know if he's going to play. Yes, they got DeRon Bland back. Thankfully, they got DeRon Bland back, because if they did not, you're talking about an even worse depth chart, depleted room than it was to start the season. And hopefully we don't suffer any more of these. But this one here, tough. Not to mention the other safety went down too. So not just Wanye Thomas, but Marquise Bell. So you're down Bell, Thomas, Butler, Carson, Diggs, scratching and clawing back there in that defensive backfield. Scratching and clawing. Couple other injury updates. Tyler Guyton suffered a high ankle sprain. We're going to talk a little bit more about him later, but just another along the lines of frustrating injuries happening to the young Bucks, and definitely for a guy who again needs to be out there to fight through a bunch of his ups and downs. But the high ankle sprain is likely going to have him miss a number of weeks as well. I have a thought on what could happen there, but we'll talk about it later. CD Lamb is still dealing with the shoulder. He missed the final few possessions, I believe, in that game. It was really strange to see him out there or on the sideline frustrated, but it sounds like he should be good to go for the Cincinnati game. You just hope that he doesn't reactivate the shoulder injury during the game, because you're going to need all your weapons up against that Cincinnati's offense, which can score some points. Again, we'll talk about it throughout the week. And then DeMarcus Lawrence, we got an update on Lawrence, depending who you listen to. This is why it's weird here in Dallas. You listen to McCarthy. McCarthy's like, yeah, we're going to see how he looks this week. We don't really have a definitive answer on this. But then you listen to Jerry, and Jerry's like, oh, no, we expect to get DeMarcus Lawrence back this week. It's happening. Like, golly, boy, maybe let you the coaching staff and the trainers figure all that stuff out. But Cowboys could be getting back DeMarcus Lawrence when they return. So there you have that. That is the injury spotlight, brought to you by OSMI following the Cowboys Thanksgiving game victory. OSMI provides arthroscopic and robotic assisted orthopedic surgery, foot and ankle surgery, sports medicine, physical therapy, and a whole bunch more, with offices in Fort Worth, Decatur, Mansfield, that provide state-of-the-art orthopedic care to the North Texas area. Hit up osmifw.com for your hassle-free appointment. Yeah, man, it's always something. Always something when it comes to these injuries. And, I got to give it to these guys, because they're just falling like flies, right? But they're fighting. They're pushing through, and they're fighting through, most of these guys. or pushing through and fighting through. I'm not alleging anything, just most of them. And I don't think that's going to stop. I saw my guy, Drummer Cam, said, I can't scroll that high up, but at the beginning of all this, when we were waiting, why are they trying to make a run? Well, Drummer Cam. The players, they're literally playing and coaching for their jobs, right? You don't expect them to tank. So, I don't know if it's a rhetorical question or not, but like when we have to live in reality here, man, those guys aren't thinking like fans. Those guys aren't going out there worried about a draft pick in 2025 when half of this roster may not be here. Half, if not all of the coaching staff may not be here. So of course they're going to go out there and try to push him and make a run. When I say make a run, I don't necessarily believe they're going to make a run to the playoffs, but these players are going to play and coaches are going to coach to win the game. Now you can argue, why is the front office not doing X, Y, Z? Well, I don't know what more you can do. You're without many top players. Your quarterback's down. This staff don't believe, or this front office don't believe in tanking anyway, but organically they are rolling out a team that's not that good. So it's really not up to them either. So maybe the frustration is the fact that they're actually competing and winning, but I don't think anyone outside the players and coaches, because those guys are going to play to win. I don't think the front office is either trying to put out a product at this point in time to tank or to win. They're just putting out what is. This team is not a great team rolling out there. What more do you want them to do? Literally bench everybody and play third and fourth strings? That's just not going to happen, man. It's just not going to happen. And you knew going into this Giants game, they were going to beat the Giants. Come on, y'all. They weren't about to lose to Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito, right? They came an extra point away from potentially blowing a game in Washington. So it's not like they're just going out there and just playing this amazing brand of football and blowing teams out. This is kind of organically happening the way it's going to happen. If you're going to get mad at anybody, get mad at them winning 3 games earlier in the season. But I think either way, this was going to. You were probably going to split with Washington at some point. Most maybe thought the end of the season because maybe they're not playing for something. Maybe you're just done and out of it. But hey, it happened now, so maybe Washington gets it later. I feel like this thing will continue to play out just the way it's supposed to play out. But Monday is going to be big. Monday is going to be very big. Charlie G still believes McCarthy's coming back. I don't believe he's coming back, but like I said before, I'm not going to sit here and call you crazy anymore. I'll say you're on to something. But I still don't believe he's coming back. He would have to go on a ridiculous run right now to come back. However, if they do lose the next 5 out of the last 7 games or 6 out of the last 7 games, or not 7, I'm sorry, 4 out of the next 5 or 3 out of the next 5, they can easily go and say, yeah, injuries happen, yada, yada, yada. So that's why I'm like, you know what? It's not far-fetched, but I still believe they're going to move in a different direction. At least I hope so. Marv said he ain't coming back. Yeah, I think majority believe he's not coming back, but I feel like the percentage has creeped up from those who do believe he's coming back from being very low to starting to creep a little bit. Just because you listen to Jerry, you see how the team is trying to fight here, the injuries and all that stuff. Although I look across the league and I see all these coaches getting fired and general managers moving on and the Cowboys not making a move, to me is just so concerning. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's go back to this Thanksgiving Day game real quick and talk about a couple of these players, okay? No cookout, right? We just had Thanksgiving. We're not having a cookout. But when you have a Thanksgiving gathering, there is still something you carry over from a cookout, right? And that's that walk with your cousins. Whether it's a walk, whether you go upstairs, whether you go out back, nowadays, it's so normal that you don't have to really go on a walk, right? Depending what state you're in, you might be able to, and it's okay. Some states you can't do that. So whether you're going to porch, wherever you are, join me. Me and the 5 others I'm bringing on the walk. Who you bring, Cowboys Nation? Let's talk about it. Right off the bat, gotta talk about Rico Dowdle. I mentioned this, I think, on the post-game show. Real quick, remove the competition. I know that's hard because obviously he did it against the Giants. But the Giants are just dead last in the NFL in yards per carry, 30th in rush yards, 31st in yards allowed by running back. Just a terrible run defense. Just remove them real quick. Pretend there's a different logo on the helmet. Just watch Rico Dowdle play in this game. 22 carries, 112 yards, a touchdown, 5-1 and 22 yards on his long. It was obviously a career day for him, his first 100-yard game, the first one for the Cowboys in like a year and a half. But watching how Rico Dowdle played was the most impressive thing to me. He looked the best he's ever looked. He could have finished with 18 and 90, and I would have said the same thing. So I don't even care about the 100 plus. The way he ran, forcing so many missed tackles. I think it was like 10 missed tackles in this game. This was the most pop I've seen from a back since, Tony Pollard was getting loose. So obviously I'm bringing Rico on a walk, and I know Rico partaking. I know Rico partaking. But I think, and then somebody correct me if I'm wrong here, I thought I saw a statistic. He forced 10 missed tackles. I want to say it's the most since 2020 for a Cowboys running back. Might have been 2021. Well, it was one of those. It was Ezekiel Elliott in 2020 or 2021. Can't quite remember exactly which year it was. So if I'm bringing Rico, I got to bring the O-line. And obviously I can't put all 5 of the O-linemen up here. So I put the face of the offensive line here. Tyler Smith. Shout out to my bro who once said, don't get numb to greatness. Now, Tyler's young, obviously, got more time, but just talking about this game, Tyler Smith was dominant in this game. And I feel like because he is who he is, when it comes to these top players, when they play at their game, it's like, okay, well, they did what they were supposed to do. No. I'm not going to become numb to how dominant he was, because when you first put on the film, the first person you want to go see is how did our guy Brock Hoffman do, because he was in the midst of everything, getting everybody's face, and he's the fun player on the offensive line, no doubt about it. He's a tough son of a bee, gritty. He's a guy you want in that offensive line room. So the first thing you're like, okay, let's see what Brock and them boys did. But I couldn't take my eyes off of 73. Arguably one of his best, if not the best game he's played this season from a film standpoint. Was absolutely dominant. The offensive line played one hell of a game. Again, helped open up holes for Rico Dowdle, helped protect in regards to Cooper Rush. But outside of Brock Hoffman and Tyler Smith, Terrence still putting together back-to-back games, Cowboys. Back-to-back quality games, as Terrence Steele was not having a great run here. In fact, he went on a run that is not good. He went on a 6-game streak of allowing a sack with multiple pressures. Now he's back-to-back games, not allowing a sack, and just one pressure on a day. Plus, he was dominant in what he really does well, and that's the run game. So, Terrence having a game, Brock doing Brock things, Tyler Smith being dominant, Cooper Beebe continuing to be kind of that steady hand at center after a couple bad snaps last week. He kind of was steady in this one. Then there's Tyler Guyton. So Tyler Guyton got banged up again. I feel like he's getting banged up every game. But this time, I was rolled up or whatever it was. I think it was on a 4th and 1 conversion or 4th and inches. He suffers a high ankle sprain. And look, it's been a frustrating year for Tyler Guyton. Let's talk. It's been a frustrating year. And when I say frustrating, again, for me coming into this year, I figured up and downs were happening. Y'all know me, 2025 was the year that I thought we would really, him and BB, that's the year you really want those guys to come into their own. But what's frustrating is that not only is his play been up and down, he's been nicked up and injured. He's fighting through, not fighting through. It's just been one thing after another for Tyler Guyton, and it's frustrating. Like, let's just be real. It's your first round pick. The Cowboys' first round pick offensive linemen usually in year one have shown more. And again, it's a tough. That's a tough act to follow when you look at All-Pro Tyler Smith, All-Pro Hall of Famer Zach Martin, All-Pro Hall of Famer, well, should be Travis Frederick, All-Pro Hall of Famer Tyron Smith. Now, were all those guys All-Pro Hall of Famer year one? No, one of them was. Just one. But it's a tough act to follow. So, he's got big shoes to fill. And if you're not filling those shoes adequately, Cowboys Nation will let you hear it. And they are, right? Tyler Guyton has not been great. He's gone through the growing pains, but now he's quite literally going through pains. And look, injuries happen, but that doesn't, and you can feel for the injuries, but you can also feel frustrated that they're happening. And with Tyler Guyton, it's frustrating. But so he ain't really on the walk. I'm not really bringing him. I ain't bringing Chuma either. It's mostly the starters outside of Tyler Guyton, y'all. So sorry, Tyler, you can't come. Oh, but Demo can. Yes, sir. DeMarvion Overshown just continues to show that he's like that, man. Every week we're talking about Demo making a play or Demo just being that guy. And I feel like he's the next, if not now, but he's that next cornerstone defender for this team. And he had undoubtedly the play of the game, which is why he's my player of the game, brought to you by Specs. Key club player of the game, DeMarvion Overshown. And if you missed it because you were living under a rock, but here is the play and the call.
7-6 in this second. Here's Locke. Blitz is picked up, and now it's balled in the air. Overshown back to himself, and he scores.
Just a fantastic play. And what I want to do is kind of just break that down a little bit, man, because it's deserving of it. I had mentioned this on the post-game show, just how impressive this thing was. Not only the play of the game, but you could put that up there with some of the more impressive plays made by an individual this season. With DeMarvion Overshown screaming off the edge here. What is so impressive about it is he had to not only change trajectory twice, but the quickness of how fast he had to think to make this play. So he's going to blitz. And right off the bat, you see he's beelining straight to the quarterback. Right? But watch how he changes trajectory and realizes it's a play action. That's when he changes it. And he's about to blow up Tyrone Tracy. This is where Tyrone Tracy is going to be. He's going to start off right here. Now watch where he finishes. Boom! He finishes 3 yards. 3 yards back. So he blows up Tyrone Tracy. On the way to the quarterback, realizes, oh, this is a screen. And he uses that 6'3" length to tip the ball in the air. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if he does not tip the ball in the air, look what we got here. We got it blocked up here. We got it blocked up here. I mean, he shakes loose, but it's kind of blocked here. These guys are going to get out in space. I mean, we're talking about a big play. We're talking about a big play that could potentially happen here. Instead, we get the tip, the pick, take it to the crib, Demo. Here's the other angle of the Demo play. Again, same thing. He's going to realize he's going to beeline straight to the quarterback, only to change the trajectory to blow up Tyrone. Oh, that's Devin Singletary. I'm sorry. Devin Singletary tips it, gets the pick all the way to the crib. And not only the play of the game, quite possibly the one of the plays of the year for the Dallas Cowboys team in general. I mean, you got maybe the CD Lamb Saints touchdown, but this 100% is right up there. And that's why he is my key club player of the game, brought to you by Specs, ladies and gentlemen. Specs, if you become a key club member, you can gain points for purchases to get access to amazing offers like their member discounts, special in-store events, birthday gifts, exclusive VIP events, access to limited release products, and much more. Make sure you hit up Specs, your one-stop destination for unbeatable selections of beer, wine, liquor, and finer foods. That's Specs. Cheers to you. Cheers to savings. Yeah, Demo with an unbelievable play, man. And this kid's a star already. You know, I don't know if he's a star outside of Dallas, outside of Cowboys Nation, but he will become a household name very soon if he keeps playing like this. It's crazy because who was it on here? Pat. I hit up Pat at Text Pack because if you guys go all the way back to when we had Pat on, I think we were doing some bold predictions or something along those lines. And he came out and was like, yeah, Demo's going to finish the season as a top 10 linebacker. So I texted him. I said, look, I remember you coming out saying he was going to be a top 10 linebacker at the end of the season. I don't know where he stands, right? I haven't looked at the other 10 linebackers, whatever it may be, but I hard pressed to think he's not, the trajectory is not pushing there. Now, one thing he does have to clean up, and we talk about this with Jesse, is he's what we call OC in basketball terms, out of control. He's OC a lot of the times. Now, sometimes that plays in his favor because he plays 110%. But then there's times where it's like, boy, if you don't break down, you're going to miss tackles. And he misses tackles at a high rate, like a really high rate. But he makes these type of plays and it makes you kind of forget about that, right? And that's what you can live with. We talk about that with cornerbacks a lot. Like, you're going to give up catches, you're going to give up plays, but can you make them? And that's why a guy like Anthony Brown, we had to get up out of here because he was giving up plays, but he wasn't making them in return. Demo was making plays time and time and time again. And when he's out there with the man next to him right there, Micah Parsons, it is a sight to see. Obviously, early in the season, these two didn't have that type of chemistry or production together on the field. They didn't even know how to use DeMarvion Overshown at that point. But, and this is why I say, I hate to say blessing in disguise, but can you make lemonade out of lemons, right? Micah goes down. Sam obviously is out. Nealon's out. We need pass rush help. Mike Zimmer deploys DeMarvion Overshown as a pass rusher. And ever since then, once Micah got back, those two guys have been dynamic. Since Micah's returned in general, I believe 4 games, he's gotten, this is per PFF, 7 sacks and about 23 pressures in those 4 games. So he's been on a bit of a tear, multiple sack games, I think in two or 3 of those 4 games. And he's kind of back to that kind of pass rush demon. Now, they had dropped him back a few times too in this game too. I think a sack happened from one of those dropbacks. So they're using him in multiple ways. But the combination of Demo and Mike, I said this on the post-game show. I mean, look, I don't know the other dynamic duos, but it's hard pressed to find a more dynamic duo right now from a pass rush standpoint than these two. Or just in general, right? In the front 7, just in general, these two guys are playing out of their damn minds. I know Pittsburgh got a couple because I watched that game the other day, but they're playing out of their minds. And when they're out there together, that's a scary sight to see for a quarterback. Osa Odigizua, another quality game, man. That's back-to-back games for Osa with 5 or more pressures. This time he did get to the quarterback for what's a career high 5th time, according to PFF. He's on track for a career high in everything across the board. Tackles, quarterback hits, sacks, stops. It's all there for Osa and what is a contract year. And a few weeks ago, we had this conversation, right? We were looking ahead, what the Cowboys must know moving forward. And Osa was one of our topics of conversation. And the question was, or what have you, discussion was, the Cowboys need to know if Osa is worth bringing back for them. Because Osa's going to get paid by somebody, whether it's here or whether it's outside of Dallas Cowboys. He's going to get paid. He was trending in that direction. He already has that talent. He's in his physical peak. He's in his prime of his career. He's one of those young veteran types, right? He plays a premium position, a pass rushing defensive tackle. I figured he was going to get paid in general. But what you really wanted to see from Osa from a personal standpoint is, because he's always shown he can play from the rip, from day one, Osa showed he could play. But over the years, you kind of saw him get worn down, being 285 or whatever it may be. He's a smaller 3-tech, but he's a baller. He can play. So he was getting worn down. And you're looking at this year, not a whole lot of defensive tackle help from a depth standpoint. So Osa was going to play a lot more snaps. Well, he's actually pushing through all that worn stuff, right? Wearing down, wear and tear stuff. He's increasing his play. He's increasing his production. Pressures are going up. Now he has 5 sacks. He's making plays. He's always made plays in the run game, but he's making them more consistently. I'm just saying, Osa, they're going to have a conversation. I love the player. I just don't know if the Cowboys are going to be willing to compete for him in free agency. And he is the prototype example of where draft and develop for a Cowboy team, maybe not for any other team, but for a team that operates the way they operate. He's the typical draft and develop product that can backfire on you. What do you mean backfire? This guy, he's a good player. Because I say this often, when you lean and rely on drafting and developing and not adding quality or high-end veterans via, the free agency department, what happens is these guys aren't going to be these hump type players right away. There's only so many Micah Parsons that you're going to get where they are undoubtedly one of the best in the game right now, right? Sometimes it takes a couple years. And Osa's a 3rd round pick. It usually takes 3rd round picks sometimes. So now Osa is hitting his contract year where he's playing the best ball of his life, but oh snap. You've got to decide whether to pay him or not. He's not an all-pro. He's not a Pro Bowler, but he's a quality piece that you've got to decide to either let walk or pay and start the process all over again if you do let him walk. So he's going to be very interesting to watch over the next, or once the season's over, to see what the Cowboys do, especially because we brought this up before. This defensive tackle room is already thin. It's already a position that you still have to address, even with Mozzie Smith improving, right, and showing signs of development. It's still not a position you say, I've seen Mozzie play good 3-4 games to end the season, I don't have to address it. No. You still need to address that position. So if you let him walk, you are now only with Mozzie Smith and Darnell Daxon, I believe it is, on the practice squad. This is going to be really interesting. Also, you have to figure the new defensive coordinator, if there is one. The mics could all return. But if there is a new defensive coordinator, do they want Osa Odighizuwa? Do they say, you know what? Nice piece for those prior, but not for me. I want to go draft this guy. I want to go sign this guy or trade for this guy. So he's going to be a really interesting case study over the next few months of this whole draft and develop, because we've seen them do this before. Byron Jones, draft, develop, turn into a Pro Bowler, they let walk, right? Connor Williams, draft, develop, let walk. Chidobe Awuzie, draft, develop, let walk. There's a couple of these guys that, it's happened. They haven't signed back, and some of them have went on to have quality careers outside of the organization. And some of them rightfully so. You say, yeah, we're not going to pay them, but then goes back to that problem. Well, yeah, you're not going to pay them because they haven't been good enough for you. Thus, if they haven't been good enough for you to pay, you could argue this isn't working. because you need those second and third round picks to be on multiple year contracts and deserve to be back on multiple year contracts, right? So this is going to be really interesting to see Osa Odighizuwa and how this plays out. It's going to be fun. So those are my guys, Cowboys Nation. There's many others you can put on here. Like I said, I often don't include everybody because I like to see who else you guys have on here. Well, Miss Jackie, so was Byron Jones, so was Cheeto, so was, there's a lot of guys that are their guys that they didn't re-sign. And how often do you see them shelling out big money for guys that aren't the Pro Bowl types that are their guys? Now, if they can get Osa back on a Dorrance Armstrong deal, sure, 100%. But I don't believe, Miss Jackie, that Osa Odighizuwa is going to hit free agency and get a 2-year, $12 million type deal. No, sir. No, sir. Again, he plays a premium position and he's playing good ball, putting out good tape, and he has 4 years of quality tape. So I would be shocked if Osa Odighizuwa isn't one of the higher paid defensive tackles that hit free agency. That's why this is interesting, because it's not a Dorrance Armstrong. It's not a Randy Gregory. We can get him back on cheap because he's a head case. It's not, unless they put the franchise tag on. You know what I mean? This is a guy that to the outside world, they're going to view him as a player they'll pay some money to. But will Dallas want to match? That'll be interesting. Let's hit the phone lines, man, and talk to our guy, VIP. What's good, VIP?
Guy is VIP, baby.
What's up with you?
Look, my energy stay the same, Sky. Look, I'm going to say this, man. Happy Thieves Day, whatever you celebrate, man. Just happy to be thankful for another year.
Facts, man. Thankful for another year. Thankful for y'all, man, for coming here every single day.
Well, Sky, you already know. But, look, I saw some things, Sky, in this game, and outside of, Team Tank, because I'm still on Team Tank, man. I still want a top 10 pick. But what we have to understand as fans is we got grown men out there playing. And I don't know. I play the sport. So I play, the people that play the sport know, like, you just don't go lace your shoes up to lay down for nobody.
No,
it's kind of, I'm caught in between because in the game, we know we're going to scrape up the Giants. And I was hoping, because I'm praying, because since he wants the same running back we want, it's kind of tough. It's tough for me because I know their defense is washable. We could wash their defense. Pittsburgh just put up 40 on them.
Yeah, we're gonna break those guys down. Their defense has not been good, but your Cowboys offense really isn't good either. So that's why it's gonna be really interesting to see how that manifests.
Well, that's what I was getting to, because their offense can still put up.
Exactly. It is
right.
I forget who I was talking to the other day or yesterday, actually, before this Pittsburgh game. I was like, hey, man, the Bengals are going to score 40 and lose. Now, they didn't score 40, but they damn near almost scored 40, and they lost. So, yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing. Can you keep up with Cincy if they get into a scoring fest? So that's something we'll talk about.
Yeah, and I've watched it. We all know what Cooper Rush is. We witnessed it. We know it. We know what he is. He's a if you want to say a serviceable backup, but he's not there to put up points. If our defense isn't playing A1, we will take an L with him. But this was scary about it because the Lion is on his ish. The Lion is on his ish. And it elevates our whole defense. I know we've been watching our defense get washed, but, man, I see the Lion doing some things, bro, that just it opens up between him and what people don't understand about what a D13, he didn't have a whole offseason to focus on getting stronger, to focus on like his development of the game, because he had a rehab offseason. Right or wrong, Scott?
Kind of. I mean, he tore his ACL so early, in 2023, that by the time you got around to the offseason, he was able to participate in strength and conditioning and things like that. But he had, right around the beginning of the year, he still was recovering. So it wasn't like it was a normal offseason for him, for sure.
So that's what I'm just plotting on. My foresight is like him having a whole off season.
Yeah.
I love
Healthy,
BB
yeah.
and Horford. Oh, yo. We got to find a space for home. You can't coach what this do. He brings that gritty. He brings that gritty to the team that we need. That B. We need that.
Yeah, you want to have that guy in your offensive line room. I still believe he's a guy that you love to plug in if you need to. A guy that can get in there for some games, some possessions. To me, he's not a 17-game starter guy, but he's a guy that I want to. The Joe Looney. Remember Joe Looney? Everybody loved Joe Looney. He was that gritty, tough player, glue locker room guy. And hey, he fills in. He's fine. But when they made Joe Looney start for that 17-game season or that 16-game season, it was like, oh boy, it's a whole different ball game when you got tape on you and you going up against a dude week in, week out type situation. I think Hoffman is a fantastic reserve offensive lineman to have on your team because he brings that toughness. But I would love to get a guy that's a dude as well, an upgrade in talent, in my opinion.
Yes, I want to use him. I remember how I used to use him like in a goal line situation, usually as a fullback. So next year, I don't want to just totally cut him out of the system because, I want to upgrade, obviously.
I
just want that grittiness with him.
Yeah. I think he's under contract, so I don't think you have to worry about that. But let me do that. Look.
Oh yeah, 'cause I know we got like 20-something players that's either under
I don't think he's
off contract this year.
Yeah, I don't think he's. I think he's good to go. Okay, he's restricted. So they'll probably put a restricted tag on him or whatever it may be, and he'll be back for sure. I don't see them letting him go.
And as far as 97, I think he should get 97 should get that same DA law, that DA deal that
I don't think
that he got.
Bro.
He should get, but I know because he's playing like he's a what is he? He's a 3 though, right? He's not a 1. He's a 3.
He's a 3.
Right?
Yeah, that's a premium position in this game right now.
And he balling. He cooking.
Yeah.
So I don't want to lose him because we already lost all of our rotation.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think we can afford to lose him, B.
I mean, it depends what you decide to do in free agency and replacing him. If they're like, all right, we're going to let him walk, and we're just going to do a whole draft and develop replacement type situation, well, now you're back into that same cycle. Okay, it might take that defensive tackle a few years, and by the time he figures it out, now you got to pay him, and we're just doing it all over again. So if they let him walk, then they got to replace him with a dude. In my opinion, you got to go get somebody.
A real dude, because I want, like, I'm loving what Mozzie's up. Like, Mozzie is showing me something, but I don't think, like you said, like, we can't say, oh, Mozzie doing it now. I want a real one. I like that Michigan kid. I seen a few D tackles.
Oh, the D tackle
I think we
class,
can snatch up.
Just from a distance, y'all probably know more. It seems a lot deeper than what it's been in years past. So the Cowboys can definitely get one for sure.
I seen a kid from Florida, homeway like 500 pounds.
Oh yeah, that ain't one of the dudes I'm talking about though. But yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about, but I'm just saying, I'm just clouded. But only like 500 pounds, you can just stick him in the middle. But no, he don't have that. And this all is predicated on our defensive coordinator.
Well,
so I think what you said, you hit it on the head because you don't know. Some defensive coordinator like 2 big boys in the middle. Some defensive coordinator is like a agile 3. So it all depends on that. But I do know this, like the upside of our young players like Overshown, like BB, and I even think we got to give a little grace and mercy to Guyton because I wish Tyron 77 would have stuck around to show him the ropes because he really not. He learning from Steele, B.
Tyron bad.
Think about it. You know what I mean? So he really has nobody to learn under. So that's.
I mean, Zach Martin is still in that room, brother. Tyler Smith is right next to him. So, I mean, he got 2 All-Pros and a Hall of Famer in that room. So, I mean.
And Tyler's that guy. He's about to get that Zach contract. Once Zach retires, he's getting that Zach money.
Yeah. Well,
but I know you got to go, Side.
Yeah. Appreciate you, big dog.
You know what it is, man. I'm still riding with my Cowboys. I don't give a damn if we 5-11, whatever. I'm still outside for us. So we play Cincy next. Then the schedule kind of soften up after that, right?
I mean, some would consider the Cincy part of the schedule soft. I mean, we're already in the soft part of the schedule. Giants, Cincy, Panthers. That's the soft part of the schedule. So, after next week, I think it's the Panthers, right?
Yeah, I think the Panthers next. Then we play Philly and Washington. I think with those.
It's over after the Panthers game. It's not soft no more. So, yeah.
So we can go back to being who we thought we were.
We'll see, man. Like I said, I'll just let this thing play out. I'm not really overly concerned about the draft pick because I said it before and I'm gonna keep harping on it. To me, what you do in the draft is actually third on the important list for me. To me, it's about who you hire as your next head coach and what you do in free agency in the trade department prior to the draft. If you strike out on those two things, then the draft don't really matter for 2025. That's just how I feel.
Right. Now, before I leave, do you have any insights on the two that we lost this week? I know we lost our cornerback and the safety.
Yeah.
I was hurt, and I ain't really.
Wanye out 2 to 3 weeks with a meniscus, and Josh Butler's done. He has a torn ACL.
That's what I was afraid of. I've seen that. I know it because I did the same injury, so I was afraid of that. Damn. All right, B. Well, I'm going to pray for my guys. Look, Sky, keep your head up, man. If you need me, I'm outside, Sky.
I already know, man. That's VIP. My guy. Let's get to Jake the Great. What's up with you, Jake?
Oh, Scott, what's happening? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got you loud and clear, sir.
Man, hey, long time no chat, man. I've been Team Rewind. When the schedule changed,
I feel you.
With the flow, you feel me?
Yeah, I already know.
But, man, you know something, Scott? I had called Law Nation one time, and I was talking a lot. I was talking some Donkey Kong stuff, and I had questioned Michael Parsons, and I had questioned his love for the game. I just want to say, boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people.
When you're wrong, you're wrong.
I think a lot of people. I don't think people really know him. They assume because he does a podcast that, and I said this many a times. I don't know anybody. I don't think there's anybody in that locker room that loves the game more than him. Dead serious. That dude, he still has that youthful enthusiasm for the game. That he's a maniac when it comes to wanting to be great. But because of the podcast, people assume he don't care for the game. But I think it was a misconception. But anyway.
You're right. And you know what I'm saying? I'm from the old school. I'm an 84 baby. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't let my age show too much. My nephew got to check me like, come on, you got to that's a new word. You got to get with the program. So I'm like, maybe you're right. I'm going to give him a chance. But I feel like they need to put some kind of restrictions on this man on his podcast. And like, you can't be talking about certain things and certain things. But, Sky, I really called you to tell you this, man. It's a bad season for me, but it's getting worse, man.
Why is that?
I don't know how to say this, Sky. Sky, the Eagles are good.
Oh, wow.
I ain't even going to lie to you,
I ain't even want to.
The Eagles.
You want to know what I text my boy yesterday? I'm watching this game, and I said something on Twitter about Vic Fangio, by the way, because I just y'all know how I feel about Vic. I tried to get Vic here. I tried, but anyway, I had text. I think it was Vaj. I was like, bro, I hate to say this, man, but I could easily see Philly representing the NFC in a Super Bowl, dog.
Oh my goodness,
it's not far fetched, bro. But I know the Lions are the class right now, but what Philly can do translates in the playoffs. They can play defense, whether you want to stop the run or the pass. They're good at both, and they can run the football. That can translate in the playoffs on the road at the crib. It don't matter. And the difference between them and the Lions is that they actually still have a good chunk of their team that has that Super Bowl, hangover, leftover, whatever you want to call it. So they know how to, maneuver through these type of teams. So I just pray like hell, though, that the Lions don't let that happen. But it's, again, remove my hatred. It is not hard to see these dudes representing the NFC, unfortunately.
You ain't lying. I had to remove my Cowboy fandom and my biasness, and I looked at that team, and I'm like, good Lord.
I know.
This is a good team.
It's a good team.
And I look at the Lions. To me, the Lions look finesse. I know they're scoring a lot of points. They run the ball, but they look a lot of finesse. When it gets gritty, I watched this team do it.
That's interesting. So scared, hey, dog, that's interesting for you to say they look for that. You really watching them? Them boys run.
Yeah, I mean,
boys run the ball
run
like
the ball.
maniacs, and you're talking about a coach that will bite your kneecaps off and an aggressive. I don't know if finesse is the great word to use for the Lions, big dog.
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them do what I've seen Philly do. That's all I'm saying. Like,
And what's
I've seen
that?
Philly just like. Well, I've seen them in a couple games where Philly's like, all right, it's not working. 22 handoffs to Shaquan. I haven't seen Detroit.
Okay, you ain't paying attention, big dog. You ain't paying attention. There's been games where Jared Goff has thrown the ball 16 times. And they ran the ball 50. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you just ain't really watching them like that. I would not use the word finesse with Detroit. That's all I'm going to say about that one.
Okay. Well, I'm using all my positive energy, and I'm sending it to Detroit.
Send it to
That's the
Detroit,
only
bro.
team I see, Detroit, because we cannot let these Eagles win another one, man. That's all I got to say, man. Jake the Great, y'all Cowboys, y'all hang on.
God, man, I didn't even think about. Appreciate JD. See, the word I used was I think they can represent the East, the NFC, not win. I ain't going that far, man. I refuse to go that far. Could you imagine, though? But I tell you what, if they do go on a deep run, if they do somehow represent the NFC, how much more can that man up at the top watch his competitor within the division constantly make themselves over and become Super Bowl contenders? This would be, if they do it, the third time since 2017 with really different makeups of the team, right? One was a Carson Wentz team, then a backup, right? They won a Super Bowl. The next was a Jalen Hurts team with different coordinators, right? Then didn't work out. They go into free agency, make trades or whatever it may be, and now they're right back in contention. Like, how many times you gonna watch your interdivision rival do things you refuse to do outside of drafting? Oh, and one could argue they're starting to catch your ass in drafting too, by the way. One can argue. I mean, I don't know if any Philly fans in here. I don't know all your draft picks over the last 10 years, whatever, but the last couple seasons, 2-3 seasons, they got some dudes that they drafted that are coming into their own and not in a sense of, oh, Mozzie Smith is putting together some good games. This is awesome to see. No, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are ballers. Nicole Dean is balling, right? Cooper DeJean and Kenyon Mitchell. Are you kidding me? So all that draft and develop talk is cute when you was the only ones really killing it in the draft, but that ain't the case no more in your division. Oh, and by the way, they say, you know what? We're not going to just rely on the draft. No. We're going to go out here and make moves. We're going to go sign Saquon. All right, keep playing around. All right, Jerry. All right, that's all I'm going to say. B Bird, what's up, OG?
Hey, nothing much. How you doing, man?
I'm good, big dog.
And how was your Thanksgiving, brother?
It was good. It was, being able to stay home to do it, I'm gonna be honest with you, was a blessing. The one thing about working for the Cowboys is you have to work on Thanksgiving. Not for the Cowboys, but covering the team with this company. And for this year, we didn't have to go remote. So being here at the crib was pretty cool.
So I wanted to comment a little bit about Philadelphia because it's of course, they're the hated Eagles. But the thing about it is, the one point about them is that it shows Jerry, and it really just puts it in his face on how to build a team. Philadelphia, actually, front office is what we envy. Them to go out and draft well.
100%.
Yeah, go out and draft well, and then don't just rely on the draft. Say, hey, we're going to incorporate some free agents in here, some high-quality free agents, because we're trying to win the championship. We're not just trying to mill guys through. And you know what I'm saying? Because the draft and develop, what ends up happening with that is player maturations happen at different times. So you'll have a guy that comes in the first year, he's a great prospect, but his maturation might not happen till year 4. Whereas the year 4 guys,
that's my
you know
point.
what I'm saying?
Facts.
A lot of different things happening, so you just cannot rely on that, man. I would say this. I was more of, even a couple of weeks ago, I was more of hey, let's evaluate players this year. So the next coach can have film on guys that's on the bench,
that may be here next year. We got a lot of free agents. Just use this like an extended, preseason, and get some guys healthy that don't need to play, and and just give some other guys look. I still feel that way. The only thing I'm afraid of is I'm worried about Jerry and what he did with Jason Garrett in a lot of those 8 years where Jason Garrett kind of won at the end to pull things off and make it look respectable, and because Jerry likes comfortability within a coach. He just needs a little bit, man, to say, hey, we're going to keep this guy on. And I just hope that this team don't do just enough to keep McCarthy's job, because I think really, man, we need a new voice in that locker room, and we need a new voice that's going to talk to the front office and say, hey, no, man, we need players here. Yeah, but no, we need players.
Honestly,
you're going to give me 3 years.
Honestly, B-Bird, that's I can care less about the pick thing, right? It's more my when it comes to winning. My concern is more if they continue to win or show this fight, that it gives Jerry confidence to bring him back. I hope like hell that is not the case. And this is, look, man, like I said to McCarthy, I respect what McCarthy has done in his coaching career. Even respect kind of what he's done in these 2 injury-riddled seasons for the Cowboys and everything. But I don't think McCarthy gives you an advantage at any given moment, unless you're playing against a team like the Panthers or the Giants, right? When you're going up against these quality teams with quality coordinators, I don't look at McCarthy, quality coach teams, as a guy that's going to be able to be good enough to get you over the hump here in Dallas, where you're not going to get aided via free agency in the trade. I don't see him as that guy.
Absolutely. And we can just go back to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And just see that we played our worst games in the playoffs of the year. And so it's just time, man. It may not – hey, he may do well at a Carolina or somewhere where the front
Chicago
office,
or something.
Chicago or somewhere like that. But here, man, we need somebody that's going to be able to that come in and command a room. And we're not just talking the locker room. We're talking about the front office too. A lot of people say, well, Jerry's never going to listen. You just got to have somebody in there that says, no, Jerry, no, this is the way it's going to be.
Yep.
That thing has to be negotiated when you first get the job, before you sign the paperwork. Y'all don't even talk about things.
No, you're 100% right. And I often joke about how, like, that type of guy has to have a poker face in that meeting. He has to be the guy, oh, yeah, Jerry, sure, whatever you say. And then once you get the job, you really start doing you, right? But, coaches don't normally do that. McCarthy's never been that guy. McCarthy's always been yep, sure, we're just going to do it whatever the way the organization wants.
That's why he got the job.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's why he got the first thing, and I'm going to tell you this before I get off. The first criteria in getting the job is not what are you going to do, X's and O's, what are you going to do with the personnel. It's will you allow us to continue to work in this comfort that we work in. Yeah, you still allow us to play without toy.
And not question either, right? Like they're not asking you.
Yeah.
When you're in there, they're not asking. They're telling you this is what comes. This is the prerequisite of being a head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. I will be involved in meetings. I will need to know, be abreast of what's going on. Report to me. Then I thus report to the media 2 or 3 times a week. I may say something in the media that undermines you or is the exact opposite of what you've got to be able to deal with that. Can you do it? If not, see ya. We'll go hire a guy that does.
Let me ask you this question, man. And you can answer. I'll hang up after this.
Go.
No, I'll listen because I want to go. So if you're Mike McCarthy, I'm putting you in that position. You've coached already in your life. But would you have went into this year as a lame duck coach?
Would I have won into this year?
Yeah, like if they didn't extend you, would you have went into?
If I'm McCarthy.
If you're McCarthy, yeah. Would you have went into this year as a lame duck?
Yes. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
I don't know that he could have hit the free agency market as a coordinator or as a coach after what happened in Green Bay and been hired. I don't know how. You could say, 12-5, 3 in a row, but going out that way, I don't know, brother. I don't know if he would have been able to survive that. He probably would have had to sit out for a year or whatever, and then come back again. So if I'm him and I'm like, hey, I'm fighting for my job, now this year becomes an audition. Am I set up for failure? Probably, but I have to go out there and coach my butt off. to at least look competent for the next opportunity if he decides to want to continue coaching. So, and plus, we're talking about money. Now, he may have got paid elsewhere unless he quit. There might be a stipulation in his contract to say, well, I quit and then they don't pay me. So I'm definitely not turning down payday. Yeah. So when you when you really break it down, you're talking about a guy who loves the game. He's a football coach. So he wants to coach the game. He's going to coach. It's a year to audition for either this team or a new team. So yeah, I would have definitely coached on it. Would I have been happy to coach on it? Absolutely not. Yeah. Hell no, I'd have been pissed off. And honestly, I would have showed how frustrated I was every opportunity I had, whether it be in that free agency room, putting the board together, whether it be the draft room, whether it be press conferences. I would be demanding more from the guys up front if you're going to put me out here on a lame duck season.
Absolutely, man. One thing, too, is that it's funny that, Jerry re-signed this guy, which is a possibility, man. So you didn't re-sign him after 3, 12, and 5 years seasons, but you're going to re-sign him after this year, which is crazy.
Ain't that crazy?
That'd be crazy, man.
How ass backwards would that be, B-Bird? Are you kidding me? 12-5. You keep throwing out 12-5 and 12-5, but that wasn't good enough to re-sign. But somehow, some way, they're gonna fight and finish 7-10, and you're gonna be like, you know what? This is good enough to bring back. We have about the most ass backwards front office if that happens, bro. Like, ain't no way, man. Ain't no way that should happen.
Hey, Scott, I appreciate your time. I'm gonna let you talk to somebody else.
Thank you, B-Bird.
I continue to listen. Appreciate you, brother.
That's real. And I know, and like, for those who I would love to get an explanation. I know some of y'all said, well, they think he's coming back, but I haven't really heard why you think he's coming back. And I also haven't heard, well, do you think he should come back? Because if we're just doing a, hey, I'm going to be right or wrong thing, whatever. But do you think he should come back? And does it even make sense? Think about what B. Bird just said. He wasn't good enough to get an extension after 3, 12, and 5 years. But somehow you finish in 6-11, 7-10, in an injury-riddled season is enough to bring back. I look at how they've performed in the playoffs, and there's no way in hell I'm bringing this man back. Just no. This dude don't get these guys ready to play like that. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again. And what I mean by that is he will show hints of adding a little sizzle to the offense. But once he gets backed into that damn corner, all he knows is what he is known for 30 years as a coach. And he proceeds to go out there and do those things in said playoffs or big games. I don't care what he does against the Washington football people and the New York Giants. We get to them playoffs. Are you carrying over that same mentality of adapting and doing the things that have worked to get me here, or for this team, right? Or we're going to go back to doing what is comfortable for you. And I've seen it far too many times. Nah, I'm good. Good to go. Move forward. All right, let's get 346 and 100 grand. We gotta get up out of here. 346, what it do?
What's up, Scott? I'm not totally for McCarthy coming back, but I'm not totally against it either. Just for continuity's sake, and you kind of hear it in Jerry speaking and stuff too, that he's kind of preparing us for that. Like the conversation that he had in that long interview when he said he fired Wade too early,
firing him, yeah.
And this is that and the third. And I'm kind of a believer in that too. That if you give McCarthy the weapons he needs, man, he can go out there and make the offense cook. You know what I'm saying? We've been top offenses with lesser weapons, man. I mean,
I don't care about that. We got to stop that. We got to stop. Oh, well, we had the top. Where was that top XYZ in the playoffs? That really matters to me. Like, how did he coach in the playoffs? How did he have these guys ready in the playoffs? This is what I saw. I saw year one in the playoffs, he came out and admitted his guys were nervous. He didn't have his guys ready to play, and it showed. And they were undisciplined, 14 penalties, making mistakes. That showed. Okay, first time, whatever. Second time around, You don't know how to deal with the adversity that strikes, and these guys go up and score 12 points on the road against the Niners. I bet whatever. Third time around, it's your turn, Mike. You're the guy. What happens instead of doing the things that have been working throughout the year, movement, pre-snap, all that stuff, you come out stagnant, slow, and you don't have any balance, and you get ran out the building early on. I can't gloss over that because we were number one offense, in my opinion, due to Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. I'm sorry, I can't do it, brother.
I won't gloss over it either, but I'm really seeing it as the writing on the wall that this guy's coming back. But I would say too, in kind of defense of Mike, man, kind of looking at our players, if you kind of read anything that I've written in the chats or kind of heard me, man, it has a lot to do with the players that we have on this not being prepared and those type of things. I can't just put it all on Mike because these guys, man, it's just what is it called, a regular sighting for how they perform in those big games, man. They get scared, they get nervous. And I'm sorry, it's just our biggest players.
That's fine. If you want to put it on the players, they're part of it too. That I mean, obviously, we're not going to. Yeah. It's not on one person. But when you are when you are a leader, if you're a CEO, if you're a manager, whatever, and you're responsible for those below you, you definitely get the brunt of it. And when I see that your players constantly come out unprepared and the game plans often are terrible as well, I got to look at you too. And that goes back to what I said before. I don't think he's the guy that is good enough to be able to overcome what the front office is going to give or lack thereof. Give him. You said give him weapons, give him this, give him that. Well, historically speaking, bro, the Cowboys aren't going out in free agency and adding a whole bunch of these proven top weapons or these proven top players. They're going to try to draft and develop, and I just don't think McCarthy is good enough to be able to take those pieces, get over the hump, and win a Super Bowl. I just don't.
Who's out there that's these top coordinators you think that might come in if we do keep McCarthy, that come in and kind of help us out, kind of help him out, if you will? Do we stay in our coaching tree, as you will, and help him out that way, or
help him out? You mean like help McCarthy out?
I think he's coming back, man. Yeah. I think he's coming back.
There's no he's not bringing in an offensive coordinator. Mike McCarthy's running this. If he comes back, they're getting the same offense. Now you're going to get back, obviously, Dak Prescott and added weapons and I would imagine the draft. But there is don't expect a change offensively. He said it before. He will never give up play calling duties again. Like that's not happening. And if it does happen, best believe it was because Jerry said so. And can you imagine that again? He just went through it with Kellen, right? So I don't know if that's even a good thing. If you're going to bring him back, then he's probably going to have to do his own thing. So we're not running into coordinator and head coach headbutting and that, and we get to the playoffs and we're on two different pages again. So I don't think there was an offensive. First of all, offensive coordinators coming to Dallas to be an offensive coordinator probably is not happening, right? Because that's a lateral move. You're trying to look for like quarterback coach, assistant offensive coordinator, or whatever, right? That's the guy you want to bring in to get ideas from. There are a couple dudes out there, but I don't think they'll come to Dallas unless they're coming for an advance, right? Like, they're not coming to do a lateral move. They're trying to get a promotion.
Man, if this guy, if he goes 9-8, man, that guy's gonna keep his job. You watch,
bro. He might not even have to go 9-8, fam. If he goes 7-10, that might be enough. Straight up.
Okay. Yeah.
It might be enough, man. 9-8's a guarantee. If he goes 9-8, it's a guarantee he's coming back here, bro.
I just hate where we're at right now as a team, man. I hate the hope Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? You hoping all year, man. I hope somebody loses so we can make the playoffs. I hope we win out so we can make the playoffs. I can't stand the hope, man.
I hate that too.
Just let us compete hard and let the chips fall where they may. I just can't stand like being on that fringe of we can make it. Oh, we can do it, and hold us all year hostage with this damn hope, and then it's just like,
that's where we at, man. That's the position we've been putting in, brother.
Yeah. All right, Scott. Good talking to you.
Yes, sir. Always. Salute. I tell you this right now. Y'all know how I feel about Mike McDaniels, the play caller, the offensive mind and stuff. Mike McDaniels would be wonderful to have here, at the very least as a run game coordinator. Here's why I don't think it happens. You're talking about two completely type of offense. I feel like McDaniels will have to be aligned with a coach that aligns with what he does philosophically from a run game standpoint, which I think his run game scheme is great, right? He's been that way back in San Fran, and he's done some cool things in Miami with it. In theory, McDaniels will be, honestly, forget run game coordinator. If you get a new coach, Mike McDaniels as OC, let's go. Let's do this, right? But I just think their styles clash, pun intended, shouts out to AJ Styles, way too much for that to happen. Mike is not giving up any type of control when it comes to this. In fact, I'd argue he hates to even run some of this damn exit motion stuff. Like, when he gets pressed about it, he gets frustrated about it. He understands some of these things you have to do in today's game, but you can just sense he doesn't want it to be a part of who we are based on how we deploy it. Whereas most of these other teams, it is a part of the DNA and what they do, and they build off of that. Mike McDaniel's offense relies on a lot of misdirection, a lot of that pre-snap stuff. Don't get it twisted. When they run the ball, it is some downhill physical type stuff, but there is creativity with it. That's not Dallas, man. That's not Dallas. So that's another Mike, by the way. Damn. Mike McCarthy would have to go into the offseason saying, I'm going to concede control of this portion of my offense completely. Meaning now me and you, Mike McDaniels, have to figure out how to marry your run game with what I do in my pass game. And we know Dallas does not do that. This is Dallas marrying their run game to the pass game. Shotgun run, shotgun run, shotgun run, under center, boot. That's what we do. There's really not much marrying the pass game to the run game to the pass game. That's not happening. But those type of coordinators, they do that. So he would have to really take a step back and alter the way he does things offensively. Big A said, take him on. That's what I'm saying. I would love to move on from him. I would love to move on. I just don't think this is not a good place for him anymore, at least. Bears, Vegas, some other team that has to start all over, and they got a seasoned guy that knows. Again, I think he knows how to get a program started and going and things like that. You won't have these program head scratching moments like in Vegas right now with Antonio Pierce. He doesn't know how to run a program just yet. He got the job because he got hot at the end of the season and players advocated for him, but he don't really know what he's doing just quite yet. He's still figuring that out. Mike knows what he's doing day-to-day operations and building a program and things like that. Does that mean it's going to be a successful championship program? No. But some of these organizations, they just want to get started. And if you're looking for an offensive guy, not a new offensive-minded guy for like a Caleb Williams, hey, here's Mike. Yeah. Mike would tell you my offense is for the quarterback. Look what I did with Dak. That's what he's going to say, right? So, yeah, go to Chicago, something like that. But the Cowboys, I think they need a different voice, man. I agree with B. Bird. Oh, buddy. Toxic tried to sneak up in here. Let me get $100,000 real quick, and we'll talk to Toxic briefly. What's good with you, $100,000?
My guy. I think if the Eagles go to another Super Bowl, honestly, sneakily, I think the Cowboys are going to change their philosophy now. But if the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, they're really going to change their philosophy, and they're going to spend in free agency because they see now that that's the only way that you're going to win. You're not going to win. I think they notice that now, Scott, and they're setting everything up for that. I'm just looking at the tea leaves. I'm looking at the tea leaves, Scott.
What's the tea leaves? Give me the tea leaves, brother.
They're going. we're going to have $100 million or possibly more than $100 million in money next year.
Well, I mean, they've had plenty of money before. That's really never been an excuse. Now, this is what I want you guys to understand. They can have upwards of $100 million. So we do this every year. The Cowboys can always have upwards of $80, $90 million if they pull certain triggers. Will the Cowboys elect to pull all of those triggers? I doubt it. I don't think every one of those triggers are going to be pulled to get you $100 million. But I think there'll be enough triggers pulled that will get you enough money to partake in free agency, $100,000. So the money aspect shouldn't be an issue. I agree with you there. I don't trust them yet. They have to prove it to me that they're going to do what you believe they'll do. They come out every year, $100,000, and say the same thing. We don't believe in free agency.
And I think this year, better than all these other years, I think they were preparing for this anyway. But this year, added on top of that, that's the only way you're winning. You can't win with just draft and develop anymore. The Eagles got a top guy. Look, took him over the top. Took him over. No. They haven't done it, and other teams have won this way. And I think that's the final straw. I think Jerry Jones sees that's the final straw. We got to do it like everybody else. I would not be surprised if the Cowboys go all in next year, Sky, on free agency.
That word is banned.
I will not be
all in is banned.
Sky, I'm telling you now, I can see the Cowboys turning up. I can see the Cowboys turning up next year saying, you know what, let's go. And Mike McCarthy, listen, everybody's talking about Mike Shanahan. If the 49ers let Mike Shanahan go, and Mike Shanahan's better than Mike McCarthy. Look at Mike Shanahan when he don't have his people.
Come on, Kyle.
They are bad. Yes, Kyle Shanahan, my bad. Kyle. They are bad. They got embarrassed last night. Embarrassed. It was terrible the way they got their kick last night.
Just simple answer. You don't got to go into detail. Would you rather have Mike McCarthy or Kyle Shanahan?
Take away what has happened in the past. Look at when he doesn't have his guys, Sky. They lose every game.
Motherfuckers don't listen.
When his top guys
my boy don't listen at all.
Sky.
My boy don't listen at all.
When his top guys fall down.
I'm gonna ask one more time.
How am I not listening?
Because I asked for a simple answer. I need none of this extra. Would you rather have Kyle Shanahan or Mike McCarthy, sir?
I would rather have Kyle, but I would be nervous if my top guys get injured. I would be nervous. It's like Jason Garrett all over again. Come on, tell me if I'm wrong, because what I've seen over the years is when
they called him Jason Garrett.
God. The reason why I say Jason Garrett, because when Jason Garrett loses guys, he loses. When Jason Garrett loses guys, he loses.
Let me tell you something.
I see that with Kyle.
Let me tell you something. I don't give a damn about when they lose their guys, because I don't care who the coach is. 9 times out of 10, when you lose your guys, you're probably not winning the Super Bowl or going to the Super Bowl. But what I did see Kyle Shanahan do is take a goddamn Jimmy Garoppolo. You could argue he lost the guy by starting the guy, and he took him to the Super Bowl. So,
but everybody else was there. Everybody else was there.
To the Super
but everybody,
Bowl.
but it don't. But everybody else was there.
One really good offensive lineman up there, and the rest of these dudes, you couldn't even name not one of them to the Super Bowl. He had Elijah Mitchell in the Super Bowl. He had Jawan Jennings was finna win the MVP. If the defense get a stop, they win the Super. So look, brother, we got to stop this, okay? Kyle Shanahan, it ain't even close. I don't give a damn if everybody's out. What are we doing?
I said get me wrong. I want Kyle better than Mike. Kyle's the beast. If the 49ers want to let him go and they want to let him go right now,
on the list.
Cut him right now. Yes. I do not want to hear Jerry Jones say, we're sticking with Mike. No, you better not stick with Mike. You better go run and get Kyle, whatever he wants.
Okay. All right, cool. You saved it there. All right. Just don't say Jason Garrett and Kyle Shanahan again. Don't do that, Mike. Don't do that.
I said that because what I've seen this season and seasons before, I've never seen the 49ers get dog walked how they got dog walked last night. They got dog walked last night.
Brother,
I'm like, man.
All right, that's cool, my boy. We got dog walk healthy. So I mean, what the
I understand. But
we got dog walk healthy.
But Scott, they've had a season how we had a season with guys hurt all year.
Where's my button at? Where's my button at? Because this is getting crazy. Where's my button at? Let me just tell you this right now.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
I don't care.
We don't care.
I'm talking about the 49ers having a bad season.
No, I'm talking about because they got guys hurt how we got guys hurt.
About what they do over what we do here in Dallas. Everything. Front office, coaching, hires, free agency, trades, everything about what they do over there. I will take it over here in Dallas, even with their bad record this year.
I agree with you 100%.
We got blown out with starters, fam. 44-6, 47-9. We talk about them losing and getting smacked with backups, and you ignoring we getting whooped with starters, $100 grand. What are we doing? Where's my boo? This guy stinks.
I said I would take Kyle. I just said a concern of mine would be if guys get hurt. I don't know. That's the only thing I said. I said other than that, I would take Kyle in a heartbeat. You signed Kyle yesterday if he come on the market. Period.
Kyle Shanahan Garrett. You heard it here first from $100 grand.
All right, man.
Hey, dog. Next time they lose, they ain't gonna know what I'm talking about on Twitter. I'm tweeting out Kyle Shanahan is Jason Garrett. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Cause see, you only getting the heat from me. Watch what happens on Twitter if you say some nonsense like that, bro. Much love, $100 grand.
All right, yo.
Hey, dog, they can fire. If they fired Shanahan right now, I'm picking up that phone, 1-800 Mike McCarthy, whatever his number is. Hey, Mike, you can go ahead and pack up them bags, dog. Yeah. I know you already sold your crib. Go ahead and pack them bags up. Kyle, we want to go ahead and get this. We want to get a head start. Hey, wait, let me bring. No. Come on in. Take a look around. What you like? What do you like here? Who do you want to keep? You don't have to. We'll let Mike Zimmer coach, but just sit in the press box a little bit. Take a look. Consult. Right? Ain't that what my man doing over there in Green Bay? He consulting. Come consult immediately. You know? Put a headset on in the booth. We think it's Mike Zimmer making play calls and Scott Tolzien or whatever, but it's really you. Like, come on in, man. Please fire him. I look. Law, your brother's a 49er fan. I know they about ready to get rid of him. Is that the case? Because if that's the case, what do we got to do to help further that happening? I'll help. Toxic. Close us out, brother.
Yeah, good morning, Sky. Sorry, got Forrest Whitaker eye from what I just heard. Just, oh my gosh, if you said and you made that tweet, I bet Kyle Shanahan would come to find you, Sky. I think he would personally seek you out. Like, this motherfucker over here. You think I'm him?
Yeah, I don't give a damn if Kyle Shanahan was playing with his fifth string. He ain't Jason Garrett, dog.
Oh my gosh. I mean, we have this big fat doofus that's looking like 400 pounds of chewed bubble gum on the sideline, and you're saying that you're comparing him to Kyle Shanahan? Oh God, no. You know, this all started, I think it was a couple callers ago, people saying that like I'm mixed on Mike McCarthy. All you need to know is this, and don't give Mike McCarthy any passes, because Mike McCarthy, when he waddled his fat ass out of a barn to go be the Cowboys head coach, he knew what he was accepting. First off, he lied about what he was going to do. He sounds like a boomer trying to work the Wi-Fi when people press him on, hey, why aren't you using motion? And he just sounds like a total boomer. And gets all pissy about it. Secondly, everyone, including him, knew he was walking into a lame duck season. Now, money is great, but you'll also see that if you make a lot of money, what are you willing to do to make that money? And if you're willing to sell your dignity and get dog walked publicly on radio shows, be a punchline on ESPN, all for the sake of money, that tells me what kind of man you really are. And the last thing I will say about Mike McCarthy is you have ran out of excuses. You got rid of the OC, who now looks like who has gotten better, albeit with Saquon Barkley, but you said, I wanted to run the ball, I wanted to do this. The reasons you got rid of Kellen Moore, you have shown that you're not willing to learn and that you're willing just to throw people under the bus so that way you can keep your job and be comfortable. Mike McCarthy, you, sir, are a total cuckold. You're a total spineless blob. I don't want anything to do with that man whatsoever. And the fact that players want to rally behind him, what does he stand for? Rooted. What the fuck does that even mean?
That was deep, Toxic. Golly. I look, brother, you got some hatred for Mike. I definitely get not liking the coach or what have you, but again, what you think these players going to do, brother? You know they're going to play that. This isn't a situation where Matt Eberflus. It's really not the Eberflus situation, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because then he would have been canned by now. But
yeah,
it ain't that bad, bro. God damn.
I'm a veteran, so I was an NCO. So leadership to me is everything. What separates great organizations is leadership. And I look at Mike McCarthy and I use Kyle Shanahan. Does Mike McCarthy put his players in the best position to succeed? Yes or no? No. Does Kyle Shanahan? More often than not, yes. So if we're worried about injuries, I know for a fact that if I give Mike McCarthy the resources to succeed, he won't. If I give Kyle Shanahan the resources to succeed, he will. I mean, he's made multiple Super Bowls. That's the difference between this organization. How do you allocate your resources in the best way possible and put your people in position to succeed? We don't do it.
We don't, brother. But listen to this bar real quick from Professor O. You know how the term is rooted this year? Professor O said, I've been rooting for a new coach all year.
I just always say routed. It's not rooted, it's routed. I don't know what to say. When I see Mike McCarthy, I just look like a guy that I think the game is past him. In 2010, this shit would have flown. But now, in the modern NFL, like I said in the past, we're the blockbuster in the streaming era. Dude, you have to get with the times or get your ass out of here. Other than that, hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and I'll let you go. Have a great day, Sky.
Appreciate you, Toxic. I tell you, man. I would love, when Jerry said, he said something along the lines, if I had to listen to like the fans say XYZ when he was on the phone, then he'd do it. Oh, I would love to hear Jerry Jones go one-on-one with Toxic. And he think it's going to be sweet. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Tyrone said, he said 2 years ago that man lied. Immediately, you knew he lied. Yeah, man. Yeah, but look, I'm not even mad he lied, though. Do what you got to do to get. Most of us have lied on a resume. Do what you got to do. Whether it be something as small as, I don't know if they do this anymore. I haven't made one in a while in that sense. I can type 75 words a minute or whatever, but in reality, you chicken pecking at 32. Right? Whatever. But just make sure when you get here, all is good. But yeah, it's clear he wasn't in no barn picking up no new modern stuff. That's for damn sure. Whew, heavy. We about to head out here in a second. I gotta run somewhere quickly. But before I do that, we are back next Monday. me and Jesse Holly. You can find us holding it down for Game Day Live at Canvas Sports and Social. And look, if you want to come through, whether it be Monday, Sunday, Saturday, whatever, you can hit them up for exclusive offers. They have pricings on private sections and more. And you're probably like, well, that sounds like a club. Well, sometimes there's an atmosphere like that, man. It's really fun. And hopefully we're upstairs again. I like being upstairs, man, where the DJ's at, having a good time. But good food, good drinks, good vibe, good music. And of course, your boy Skywalker and Jesse Holly holding it down for Game Day Live. We will be back. So make sure y'all come back through. We got a longer week, a longer period to the game. It's what a weird stretch, right? Monday night game, then noon, then Thanksgiving, then another Monday night game. So we'll probably start prep on, and look, I almost gave up on like legitimately, and I'm not saying I don't take a look at them, but doing our breaking down offense, breaking down defense, I almost gave it up because I'm like, look, the season very well is probably still over. But the Cowboys reeling off 2 in a row has given them reasons to try to still fight and strive, right? So we'll do the same damn thing. We'll take a look at the Bengals offense and defense this week sometime later. But I'll be back tomorrow in general. Yes, that is very true. I'm actually get that link for my boy Jesse. He does the Holly's Helping Hands every year. If you don't know about the link, just type in Holly's Helping Hands and you can donate. And what he does is so amazing for these kids. But I'm gonna get the link and we'll drop it in here the rest of this week. All right. With that said, do me a favor on the way out if you can. Hit that like button. It's not hard. Share this thing. And share it to your Cowboys friends and family and folks who don't know about the Cowboys Morning Show. Okay? Because a lot of people still, we're going to first takes in the worlds and whatnot. And that ain't it. That ain't it.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
No, thank you, Michigan. Be back tomorrow. I may or may not get a leg up on this Cincinnati game. It has become a little bit more interesting. All right, a little bit more. You're technically one game. If you're in the tankathon, you're one game behind Cincy. If they win, y'all might swap. We'll see. We got it. Lay y'all. Peace. Shouts out to my brother Foots the King in the building. I forgot the supers. Real quick, appreciate you still them boys. We don't wipe them 304s. Big Mex, all dropping supers. I'll read those tomorrow, but I appreciate y'all dropping.